Okay, have and have not fans, it's time to go into I guess you could almost say a character analysis, but it's almost like two sides of the same coin. This video is really going to be about my thoughts on Mama Rose 1 and Mama Rose 2, if you want to call them that. And there's been fan division, well, at least upon last week's episode, we only got to see Mama Rose for maybe 3 minutes when she came to the hospital to confront Mitch about what happened with Warlock and, him almost being shot at, well, being shot at, but almost being shot. Some fans really didn't like the new Mama Rose. I just see like, ah man, it should have kept old Mama Rose. She was better, and this new one, her eyebrows ain't. Honestly, like I said in videos before, I like the new Mama Rose. I mean, I'm one of those excuse me, I'm one of those fans of movie franchises, TV franchises. I really do like it when there's continuity, where in terms of keeping the same actors and actresses throughout, a series as a whole. I understand in some cases being, maybe contracts or somebody has isn't available, or in some cases a character gets a deal on another show and the character is so essential to the plot they get a new person to play them. Now, to be fair, when you really think about it, and again, this, as you can already tell, I do love both Mama Rose. I love what character aspects they were to the series. When you think about it, wasn't it time for a change? And here's what I mean by that. When you think of Mama Rose from season 2, let's not even talk about the actresses who portrayed Mama Rose. Let's talk about Mama Rose as a character, okay? Is that fair? All right. Now, take 5 seconds, just kind of close your eyes, take a deep breath. Don't think about the actress playing Mama Rose. Think about the character. All right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep breath. Okay, here we go. Let's look at Mama Rose from early Haves and Have Nots compared to the Mama Rose we have now. Back in season 2, when Mama Rose was first introduced after Candace was abducted, we saw Mama Rose as, of course, this tough gangster, mob boss. Very kind of cool, calm, cool, and collected in how her demeanor was. She only really acted, I guess you could say like a pit bull on a chain when the situation demanded it. And you can tell that really didn't even come out of her because she was in control of the entire situation with Candace. Candace was literally at her wits' end. Mama Rose calmly said, hey, you know what? You messed around with Jim Cryer. He's about to be governor, maybe even president of the United States. And you're you're messing that up. So what I don't want you to do for my boy, and again, Mama Rose sounded like a mama, take this bus pass, get out of town, don't come back, and you'll be free and clear. Candace wasn't having it. Then talked about the baby. She was about to literally have, Mama Rose had a doctor there to have an abortion for Candace. That's when Candace kept, revealed the truth. I'm not pregnant. I'm sorry. I lied. Blah, 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 blah. So that shows you right there. Mama Rose don't play no games. She's like, look, we're going to take pregnancy test. And if it turns out you're lying, we're really going to make it hurt. So again, Mama Rose got a little bit forceful, but not, not like a rabid pit bull. Then you come back when Jim, comes down to the warehouse, the tunnel, wherever I think it was like a warehouse that Candace was in. And, him and Mama Rose kind of exchange kind of just information in terms of, oh, she's scared, really scared. And then when Jim was like, oh, shoot her, but don't kill her. And the mom was like, oh, come on, taking away all the fun. He's like, well, it's more fun than being in jail. So it shows the two have like kind of a relationship in terms of, I don't know if it's like buddy best friends, but more like a understanding with each other, if you will, in terms of like when Jim needs something, the Malones are there because of what Jim did to save the Malones from jail. Remember, it was that unnamed Malone back in episode 2 that Jim threatened Candace with in terms of, I know a guy who makes women disappear. I got him off most likely a life or, execution sentence. And he sends me birthday, holiday cards every year saying that, hey, if you ever need a favor, let me know. So the Malones are in Jim's employ, if you will, due to that one favor. Now, you think about what happened with Norman Hewins. That was the next time that Jim called up with the Malones because he needed Norman to take the fall for Wyatt after the hit and run charge with Little Lizzie. And after seeing Wyatt on the TV and whatnot, I believe it was the bloodbath that Jim ordered, for Veronica, Professor Cannon, Terrell, and Mama Rose. We didn't hear her. We just we understood that Jim was calling her, saying that he would need a bloodbath, and he's like, "Oh no, you saw what happened on the TV. Remember what Celine came on the TV and just revealed to the public that Jim has a mistress, his maid, and then two children." So Mama Rose again, hey, you know what? It's done. Then of course David, most recently the Jennifer Salison situation, where David called up Mama Rose, well, the Malones, to come clean up the mess, and we all know how that's turning out. Oh, also kind of backtracking, the only time we had Mama Rose kind of threatening Jim and David, well, more particularly David, was when she found out that, David had the phones tapped, well, I guess you could say phone calls diverted from Benny's Towing, where her grandson works. And that's when he found out, oh man, this guy's a Malone. That was the only time that we knew that, okay, even though Jim and David, well, you could say those two can deal with the Malones. When they say, turn left, you turn left. Now, I believe way back in season 2 when David and Jim, remember in the campaign office, they always had those moments in there, and David was like, look, you can't keep calling them Malones for these favors. Eventually, they're going to be wanting to collect on them, meaning that even though Jim is good with the Malones, there's a cap to, how much he can get. I guess you could say there's a cap to the freebies he can get from the Malones. And it looks like that cap has been met, not with the Jennifer situation, but the fact that Jim seems to be standing in the way of what Mama Rose wants. And that's not just vengeance for her grandson who didn't get shot, but for Savannah, Georgia to know the Malones mean business. So I guess you could say that we haven't seen Mama Rose 1 in person since season 2, after her initial appearance with, of course, the whole Candace abduction. And then from there, we heard on the phone with Jim and David. Jim when he was looking for Norman Humans. And then, of course, David when it came to her grandson, Mitch. Enter the new Mama Rose. And this is not the actor situation. When I say new Mama Rose, I mean a Mama Rose with a brand new attitude. This is a Mama Rose who isn't just a, gangster when you need it, call 1-800-GANGSTER. This isn't that Mama Rose. This is a Mama Rose who feels like her family name has been threatened, because if somebody shoots them alone, that's a great sign of disrespect. And as Jim pointed out, Warlock didn't know that it was a Malone, but that is true. But hey, whatever the case may be, her grandson was shot at, which was not a smart move. And because of this, Mama Rose on the deep end, like, you know what, bump this. And what was surprising is the whole, like, we really got a lot of information. Because again, Mama Rose and Jim sat down for almost 10 minutes of the episode talking, and I really loved that, because again, I've always wanted to see that part of those two characters interact face to face, but also get down and dirty into, her character as a whole, not just somebody Jim calls up whenever he needs something, but more into Mama Rose. And again, the most important thing to her is obviously family and of course power. So the fact that her grandson, who doesn't even want anything to do with the Malone lifestyle, was almost shot, and then Mama Rose is ready to start this, raise all hell in Savannah, Georgia. That says a lot. So I mean, literally, I even said this in my what is Mama Rose planning video, that she said, no, I don't care who burns or dies, man, woman, child, you get this guy. You think about your grandmother, your mother, some relatives close to you. If you mess, it's like they say, if you mess with it's like a mother hen taking care of her chicks. You mess with them, there's going to be hell to pay. So maybe your grandma, your mom wouldn't take it to the extent that Mama Rose is doing, but you can imagine, like, let's say you were a little kid in school and then your mom saw you getting picked on and whatnot. A mom probably grin her teeth, clench her fist, want to bust that kid in the face. That's Mama Rose right now, except she has guns and she's a gangster and stuff like that. So when you really think about it, come on now, let's kind of think. This Mama Rose is completely different than the Mama Rose we saw back in season 2, because she isn't a hired muscle. She's somebody who's ready to flex those muscles and make sure everybody knows about the power that the Malone name carries. And also the fact we learned, like, she doesn't give a damn about what Jim, Wyatt, and the list goes on. So from right there, we learned that, hey, even though Mama Rose and Jim seemed kind of tight, back in season 2, the extent of their relationship only goes down to, hey, you helped me out, Jim. Now I want to help you out a few times, and that's it. So, wow. And I even said it in my episode review video. It is kind of strange that Jim is trying to, protect Warlock because, again, the only reason he got him out of jail was to destroy the photos and videos that, Candace had to blackmail him with. That Warlock had in his possession, destroy those, then go over to Candace's house to get the evidence from there. But again, the new DA came over to the Cryer house to ask about information on Candace. If I'm not mistaken, it was, hey, Jim, can you get Candace to come over here and you wear a wire and we'll get information about the murder of Quincy Maxwell? And then he said something like, smart ass like that he wouldn't do it. And the next thing you know, the DA flashed the photos and whatnot that he took from the cops extorted from Candace's house. So really, there's no reason for Jim to even call or even talk to Warlock. There's nothing. The deal has been done. I mean, Warlock is, I really can't say Warlock didn't live up to his end of the deal because there's no way he could have known the police went in there and took everything out of Candace's house. So it is strange. And again, it goes back to what I said before. Could Jim be protecting Warlock, in terms of Warlock told his story to Jim, not just in the jail, but also in the war room about, how he grew up, his, I guess you could say track record with the law is pretty extensive. Not to mention the whole, being black. I guess you could say this much. When those two were in jail, I guess you could say that Jim saw a lot of himself in Warlock in terms of potential, and he wants to help him get out of, his situation. Really does seem like Candace in terms of, I want you to go straight Warlock, so you never know. So Jim is actually risking a lot because he knows how I guess you could say tense, in depth, how much pressure the Malone name carries in terms of everybody in Savannah knowing that the Malone shall not be, trifled with. So for him to try to risk it all with Mama Rose and try to say, hey, let me find him first, that says a lot. There's no telling what his plans are. So Mama Rose, again, she doesn't give a damn that her grandson wasn't shot, but the fact that he was shot at, she's willing to turn Savannah upside down. And we're talking about a real bloodbath, Jim, not the one not the little, 3 or 4 person party you're talking about. We're talking about a full bloodbath. Now it looks like Jim was trying to fill up a teaspoon. Mama Rose actually about to fill up an Olympic-sized, swimming pool with blood. So it's about to go down in Savannah, Georgia. And I guess at the end of the day, if you look at the actresses, not the actress, but the character, it does make sense that we have a new Mama Rose, because I'm not saying that the first actress to portray Mama Rose couldn't pull off the Mama Rose we're seeing now. I'm damn sure she could pull it off. But I find it interesting that the fact that we have a new Mama Rose is at the same time we're having Mama Rose as a new character in terms of her persona. And I don't know, maybe it's the fact that, the first Mama Rose was more available as an actress because she had cameo appearances. It seems like this season Mama Rose is going to be a major player, so she might be in more episodes than, just a handful. And I kind of want to compare that, if you will, to, let's say, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where the first Aunt Viv, was a strong, independent black woman who really had a lot of character depth and brought a lot to the storyline. Then you bring in the new actress who played Aunt Vivian, and Aunt Viv almost became like a side character. She wasn't as outspoken and whatnot as the first Aunt Viv. So you look at Mama Rose, where the first Mama Rose was, this calm, cool, collected character. Now you have a new Mama Rose who's like, a rabid pit bull. Like, hey, you mess with my puppy, it's about to go down. I'm about to bite everybody in this town. So I really do, that's just me making one comparison. Maybe you all can find something better, in terms of a TV show that did the same kind of thing. So at the end of the day, I do not have a problem with this new Mama Rose. I think that she, again, this season so far, and maybe this is too early to say so, this season is looking pretty damn good. We're only 2 episodes in, and I'm very impressed with what we've been having so far. It seems like we're having good pacing, good character, plot points being, addressed more, like we're getting more Mama Rose and other characters. I just hope that this season as a whole does not introduce like a slew of new characters, and we don't resolve unresolved plot points. We're talking like Tony and his kidney, Celine saying she's going to get back at Jim. But also another thing to keep in mind is that it's only been a couple of days. Like, you look at from the time that Jennifer Salison arrested Jim, Catherine, David, and Veronica to where we are now, it's only been a few days, if maybe 4 or 5 at most. And again, Maybe it's been a week, I don't know, but it hasn't been that long. So that's why a lot of these plot points are taking forever. But at the same time, I just hope Tyler doesn't open up a can of worms where we have an entire freezer full, in the back corner. So what do you think of the new Mama Rose after seeing her in this last episode? It looks like she definitely has some plans up her sleeves. Do you think that Jim is going to be in her warpath? If he stands in the way, will he burn down like the rest of them? Because it looks like she has no qualms about, going over to Warlock's territory and shooting up the place and then putting Jennifer Salison's body in his trunk. Do you think that Warlock is going to be killed, or do you think he'll be put back in jail if they find Jennifer's body in the trunk of his car? But again, I don't know if Mama Rose is going to keep that tag on his, Jennifer's body saying that crier victim Jennifer Salison. I don't know if that's still going to be on the body, because again, there's so many things connecting the criers to this. Because remember, Mama Rose with her contacts knew that David was the one to get Warlock out of jail. And then you look at the fact that it was a crier victim. Jennifer Salison arrested the Harringtons and the criers on TV, because again, Jim got off the stage from announcing, you know what, I'm not backing out of the race. So we can assume that maybe the cameras were rolling, the cameras were flashing, the cameras were, functioning properly, and got, the rundown of them being arrested by Jennifer Salison. It could be a revenge plot. You know what? They got out this, drug dealer, this gangbanger out of jail to take care of their dirty work. And now we caught him with the body in his trunk. So the criers could be going down as a result. So there's no telling what's going to happen next. So again, this was a video I've wanted to do for the past week. But again, I just wanted to wait until we got more Mama Rose before I decided to do a video on Mama Rose. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think was better, Mama Rose 1, Mama Rose 2? And where the hell do you think the Malones are going to take Savannah, Georgia in the next season, the haves and the have-nots? It's about to go down.